Today, we're taking a look at the Fat Boy from Bread Butter. What's up, guys? If you're familiar with my channel, then you know I love Bread Butter, and this is their newest release, the Fat Boy. The Fat Boy has generated a ton of hype so far, and I expect it to sell out on its pre-orders. If you guys are watching this the day it comes out, then pre-orders will start tomorrow morning, July 23rd. Bread Butter will be doing drops of these paddles every Tuesday for the next 5 weeks. And before we get into the review, if you guys wouldn't mind liking this video and subscribing to the channel, it really helps a lot. Alright, on to the Fat Boy. This is a unique wide body shape that Bread Butter had custom designed. The stats from Bread Butter have this at an average weight of 8 ounces, a swing weight of 110, and a twist weight of 7.19. It is a 16mm polypropylene core that is thermoformed with edge foam and has a T700 and Kevlar blend face. They have the handle listed at 5.3 inches, but I found that if you overwrap it, you can get about 5.5 inches of usable length. Speaking of overwraps, I have this one overgripped with my new favorite overgrips from THICC Overgrips. This particular one is the THICC Supreme Overgrip, which is a nice, comfortable, spongy grip, but they have multiple styles of grips for any preference. And you can save 10% on THICC Overgrips using the discount code SCOOTER. Speaking of discount codes, the Fat Boy comes in at $189 before a discount code, but if you use that same discount code SCOOTER on Bread Butter's website, you will get 15% off, bringing this paddle down to $162. Alright, with all that out of the way, how does the paddle play? Well, first of all, it is not what I expected. When I saw Bread Butter first announce this product, I thought that it would be very similar to other wide body paddles like the Volair Mach 2 Forza. If you've had a chance to play with that paddle, it is very soft, very control oriented. It's a great paddle, but it does lack a lot of pop and power. The Fat Boy still has plenty of control, just like other wide body paddles. However, the core feels a bit stiffer, and with the feeling of the Kevlar face, it has a lot more pop and power than you would expect. If you haven't had the chance to play with a Kevlar paddle, it has a very unique and dynamic feel to it. It's really soft on softer shots near the kitchen, like dinks, but stiffens up quite a bit when you hit it hard, like drives from the baseline. And that, paired with the shape and core design of this paddle, gives it nice control on soft shots while still having good pop and power when hit hard. The shape also lends itself to having a really low swing weight, which makes this paddle feel super maneuverable and quick in the hands. Bread Butter also did a great job ensuring this paddle had a massive sweet spot. It's one of the biggest sweet spots I've ever felt on a paddle, and it lends itself to being super stable and forgiving. But as I mentioned, the biggest surprise to this paddle is the power and pop that it gets. Having played with a few standard and wide body shaped paddles, most of them are very soft. This paddle is surprisingly poppy, and I didn't feel like I was lacking power compared to a lot of other paddles on the market. And because of that, I would classify this paddle as an all-court paddle, leaning ever so slightly towards control. And those characteristics also make this paddle my favorite wide body paddle I've ever tested. If you haven't had the chance to play with a wide body or standard shaped paddle, I actually think that they are better for most people than other shapes like the elongated and hybrid. They typically have way bigger sweet spots, more forgiving, quicker in the hands, and the lower swing weights make them easier to maneuver than heavier paddles. The lower swing weight also allows for more ability to customize it using lead tape. Since you're not starting off with such a high swing weight, you're able to add more lead tape without making it unbearable. For me personally, I added a few strips of lead to the bottom corners going up to the side of the paddle. That resulted in an end weight of 8.8 ounces. I found that that just dampened the paddle a little bit while adding a little bit of extra power. Overall, I think the Fat Boy is a super well-rounded paddle that is great for pretty much anyone. It's one of those paddles that I could give to pretty much anybody and they would enjoy using it. You get all of the benefits of a standard or wide body paddle without sacrificing pop and power like you normally do. Overall, I've really loved using this paddle. It's going to be a staple paddle in my bag for the foreseeable future, right alongside the Shogun from Bread Butter. Don't forget to use discount code SCOOTER to save 15% off Bread and Butter paddles on their website. As always, let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and stay tuned, I have more reviews coming soon.